Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. So now we're going to be looking at finding angles with the sine law and cosine law. Up until now, we've only been finding sides. So there's a distinction here. We're now going to be looking for angles. This is the pattern. Now, some teachers call it a formula, and they have you memorize it and try to plug in what they've got. Not a big fan of that. I see this as a pattern. Now, let me read to you what I see in this pattern. The cosine of the angle that I'm looking for is going to be equal to the other two sides squared, added together, subtract the opposite side squared. All divided by the other two sides multiplied by 2. That's the pattern. And if you can say it in words, you can do it. So let's take a look at this example. Here is my angle that I'm looking for. I have an opposite side, and I have two other opposite sides. That's going to be a cosine situation. Okay, if I had another angle that was opposite one of the sides that I knew, then I could use a sine law, but I can't. So this is cosine, but I'm going to set it up using the pattern for an angle because that's what I'm looking for. So it's going to be cosine of the angle, and in this case it's x, that angle measurement is x, is going to equal the other two sides, 18 squared plus 22 squared, it doesn't matter which comes first, subtract 15 squared. All divided by 2, 18 times 22. That's the pattern. Not interested in memorizing formula, but a pattern is always a good thing. Now, grabbing your calculator. Now pay attention to this. Different calculators work differently. For mine, I'm going to do 18 squared plus 22 squared equals, subtract 15 squared equals. That's the top. The bottom, I'm going to do it slowly. Divided by 2 equals. Divided by 18 equals. Divided by 22 equals. Now that decimal is the cosine of this. So this is actually cosine x equals 0.736111111 and as many ones as your calculator will give you. We should recognize this from last day as being an inverse question. We want the angle x. So what you really want to do is use the inverse of cosine on this decimal. So second function, cosine, on that decimal gives me an answer of approximately, now it's 8 rounds that 9 to a 10, so it's going to be 42.60 degrees. And that is the final answer. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not going to write this ever again. I did it just to show you where it came from, but I'm going to go from here to here, and you're going to do the same thing, and we're going to give you, 3 to 4 marks for this question. So, pause the video, try the next one. Okay, assuming that you've tried the video, or you paused the video and you've tried this, let's take a look. I have an angle. I have a side length opposite it, and I have two other side lengths. So it's going to be cos x, that's the angle, equals the other two sides squared, subtract 200. All over top of 2 times the other two side squared, so that's 205 and 150. So once again, it's the other two side squareds, subtract the opposite side, over top of 2 times the other two sides. Using my calculator, it's going to be 205 squared, 205 squared plus 150 squared equals, take away 200 squared equals, divided by 2 equals, divided by 205 equals, divided by 150 equals, that's the decimal for the cosine of x. We want the inverse of it. So second function cosine, angle x equals approximately 66.50 degrees. And what you need to remember is going from here to here. Remember to use the inverse, which is cos inverse. All right, we'll stop there and then we'll do the sine law.